lot of people ask that question, but some of the folks in Boston ask it not nearly so politely. Their question more is, who the hell are you? Which I really, absolutely, I relish that. So I'll tell you the quick story. It's a little bit more than a minute, but it's illustrative of our relationship. I met Deval Patrick at a St. Patrick's Day party in Halifax, the Plymouth County Democratic League's annual fundraiser, which is coming up, by the way, and I hope you'll all go because it's a great party. See, I'm always promoting something, and that's how I got hooked up with Deval Patrick. People remember in January of '05, there was a story in the Boston Globe that there was this guy, Deval Patrick, who was thinking of running for governor. I read the story like most of you probably did at the time, and I'm going to confess, although I was a strong supporter of Tom Riley when he ran for AG, and I liked him personally, and I despaired as Democrats that, not for Tom, but that as for been 20 years since we elected a Democratic governor, right? 20 years. 1986 is so long ago the Celtics were world champions. That's a long time to wait. You know, we can't talk about baseball in '86 other than Wade Boggs won the batting championship. And The Cosby Show is the big hit on TV. And Platoon won the Emmys. It's 1986. We suffered a long time, and I despaired, honestly, because we had put forward a lot of good candidates. But the strategy of taking the next person in line and running them up the middle, and we're going to win because we're Democrats and there's more of us than there are of them, and we're all going to hang together in a team and it's all going to work, it's like, I don't know. It just hasn't been working, right? So I was very open for something different on a personal basis, and I started asking a lot of friends. I may have asked some people in this room, what do you know about this guy, Deval Patrick? And the answer was always the same, not much. I know he's black, he was Bill Clinton's administration, smart guy, from Boston. That's about the extent. I had been working on a volunteer basis for the state party, did grassroots training. Following the '04 election, we were all despairing about what went wrong, and God damn it, we lost to this jerk again. And what are we going to do about it? And of course, my natural instinct was, we got to get in the grassroots and get organized. And so the party put together, they have a field services committee. And for those of you who are not state committee members, like Mr. Campbell is, but the state party's committees are open to any Democrat. You don't have to be a member of the state committee in order to participate. I've participated for many years, although until very recently I've never been a member of the state committee. But we organized a couple of grassroots training sessions. One was at UMass Amherst, one was at Roxbury Community College. At the end, they were great. Twice as many people showed up. People were anxious to get something done. And at the end, I was standing in the back of the room, sort of feeling self-satisfied. These things had worked. And I turned to my friend who worked on the committee with me, named Nancy Stolberg. And I said, Nancy, what do you know about this guy, Deval Patrick? She had this little twinkle in her eye and told me I was just hired to be his field coordinator. So I love Nancy Stolberg. She is unquestionably the best organizer I've ever worked with. And so I said, that's all I need to know. I'm interested. I'd like to, I'm probably going to be with him, Nancy. If you've checked him out and he's good, I'm ready for some change. Let's see what we can get. I said, I'd like to see him sometime. As a matter of fact, because I'm always promoting something, the Plymouth County Democratic League St. Patrick's Day party is coming up on March 15th, and you should tell him to come down to Halifax. I mean, Plymouth County is hard to organize, no, blah, 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 blah. So a couple of days later, she called me and says, you can't come, the schedule's too busy. I said, okay. Well, next time he's heading south, let me know, I'll go see him. I don't want to travel too far, but I'm anxious to see the guy. Well, it turns out he showed up at that dinner. And I don't know if some people were there. He did not have a green tie on.
That's right.
Right.
He told the stupidest joke I've ever heard in my life.
Right.
It was awful.
It was.
So my first reaction was, oh, this guy needs help. But what happened was we met at the dinner, and he said, oh, people have told me I should talk to you. And that was just, when you're the chair of the Plymouth County Democratic League, that's not unusual, statewide candidates. It's hard to organize down here, There's lots of real-life Republicans in a lot of small towns, and, so I said, okay. So we went on the following Saturday, which was the 22nd of March, to have a cup of coffee, or me a cup of tea, up at a coffee shop in Milton, and we start talking. And my reaction was the same as I'm sure most of your reaction the first time you met Deval Patrick. Oh my God. Yep. This guy is something special. And I started understanding immediately one of the most important things about this guy was you could feel him listening to you. He's seriously paying attention. And I immediately understood that he was asking the right questions. And one of the most important questions I thought was very appropriate. He said to me, "How do I win this thing?" And so I tend to be honest. So I said, "Well, by any standard measure, you really can't. I mean, you've never run before. You're not even starting with the 10 people who helped you get elected selectman. You've got no money in the bank. You've got no name recognition. Nobody's endorsed you. Well, Brian Joyce endorsed you, but he's your next door neighbor. You know what I mean?